Greetings, Beth Warriors. Greetings. Greg is back. So are you. Welcome to the Results Kill Excuses channel. Doing a live stream here. Unrehearsed, unscheduled, just impromptu. Gonna get on here and hopefully reach one person. Maybe you're that one person. Maybe you're the one person that I am going to reach that needs some inspiration, some encouragement, some motivation. Maybe even just to be challenged a little bit to grow, expand, finish the starting line, try something new, unlearn a lot of old things. Where are we at? Where are we at? It's been a minute since I've been on here live. For whatever reason, the universe has been just like, I don't know, I've tried to get on a few times since the new year has started. And sometimes you just go with the flow as I see 111, and today's 111. So this has been recorded on a 111 day. Just saw 111. So there's good alignment. It's a good opportunity to manifest, to connect, hopefully inspire. It means a lot to me to get on here and share encouragement, share a message with people. I know there's so much going on in this beautiful world that we live in. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on in your world? Isn't that an interesting question? Because every single one of us has a different perspective. You could live with somebody and spend most of your time with them, and guess what? You would also have a different perspectives on all types of things. And that's an interesting situation that we find ourselves in when we fully realize how unique we are. That's what's coming up right now. Do you realize how unique you are? Do you realize that you're one of one? Do you realize that there is no one else like you in this entire universe? Do you realize that that's how unique you are? And because you're that unique, because you are that special, one of one, there's no one else like you. I know it's hard to believe. I know that we struggle to really accept that. I know I've struggled to accept that in different phases of my life, but I can tell you right now, I receive that. I realize that I'm one of one, and I realize that you are too. And so if you're one of one, I guess the question for tonight is, why do you exist? Why are you on this planet in your body at a time such as now? Such a beautiful time to be conscientiously present and alive. It's such an incredible time. A lot of us are wishing it was the older times and the times of the past, or wishing somehow it could go back to what it used to be. Are you there? Are you in the wish it could be the way it used to be? I think a big longing for that, reaching towards the past, is the way that time works. There's a time in the past where we felt like we were better. And most of that was just based on you were younger and you had less life experiences that have kind of worn you out and weared you down. And yet, what does that tell you about your experience? I think that's really, if you listen to the messages on any kind of a regular, consistent basis, which all of you should, I've been really talking about what it is to figure ourselves out, what it is to sit with yourself, to examine yourself. And we think we know who we are. A lot of us think we know. We think we know who we are, but what we know is who we've been. But we don't know what the future holds per se. We don't understand the totality of who we could be if we no longer held ourselves back, if we no longer played small, if we were willing to actually value this existence, this thing called life, and try and squeeze out the most out of every single day. No longer living in fear and doubt and guilt and shame and grief and sadness and anger, but giving ourselves permission to like go all out, to change who we are. Starts in the mind, starts with our attitudes, starts with having a willingness to unlearn everything. Right? Do you think you have the strength to unlearn all the things you've learned? Because here's the truth is if the things you've learned are true, unlearning them, challenging them, there should they should be willing to able to stand the test of your examination. But if the things you believe can be cross-examined in such a way that you have to get defensive, you start to shut down, then the chances are the things you believe are maybe not in your best interest. Do you like how I frame that? I don't want to say that things you believe aren't true, because if you give it focus and energy, anything you believe, like that's your truth. And so many people out there, maybe you're one of them, believe stuff that does not benefit you, does not serve you. It does not give you a return on the investment that you make by holding on to the belief. What's up, my brother? What's up, my stay locked in, keep going brother from the north? Great to have you here, as with everyone else. But I believe that the purpose to my existence was to figure myself out. And maybe, just maybe, the purpose of your existence is to figure yourself out as well. What does that even mean? Maybe that sounds stupid. Like, what do you mean? Are you trying to say I don't know myself? Yes, that is what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't know yourself. I can tell you, when I was wounded, when I was living, carrying around a lot of emotional pain from my past, I didn't know myself either. And it took me hitting a rock bottom. It took me learning from pain and painful situations for me to clear my mind and sit with myself. Going on 14 years now of sobriety, 14 years of doing the healing work, doing the emotional heavy lifting, doing the inner work, which is really a spiritual awakening, which is really just the fulfillment of the purpose for my soul on this planet, which is to ultimately become the best the best excuse maker on planet Earth. Yeah. Is that you? Are you the best excuse maker on planet Earth? Anytime something new opportunity, something you need to do, something that you know you should be doing, but you just don't want to do it because you got an excuse. Is that your purpose? That's why you exist? Because you need to make all the best excuses on planet Earth to avoid fulfilling your purpose of becoming what? The best version of yourself. The best version of what you can be. And depending on when you're hearing this, regardless of when you're hearing this, you know, I've been really thinking, and I shared a message recently because it's kind of in the stream of conscientiousness that's been coming through to me in the here and now, which is having to reflect on my past. I remember a time called 2008, moving into 2009. Who here wants some story time? Oh man, I've been through it. If you're somebody that listens or has listened for any given amount of time, I'm very candid and vulnerable about my past mistakes. Multiple DWIs, domestic violence, all of these hardships, all of these struggles were usually fueled by my addiction to alcohol. But underneath all that addiction, right, was really a man that just was carrying around a tremendous amount of pain. And I didn't know how to communicate the pain. I didn't know how to deal with the pain other than to numb the pain. That was the protocol. Numb the pain. The minute that I was a teenager and I found alcohol and alcohol found me, I fell in love because it numbed the pain. And it was a pain I didn't, at that age, I had no understanding of what it was. I just knew that taking in alcohol shifted how I felt about myself and about life and about everything. But now when I can look back 30 years plus into the past, I now realize, oh, wait, I didn't have a problem with alcohol. I was the problem. I just didn't realize I was the problem. Maybe you don't even realize you're the problem. Maybe you do realize you're the problem, but you're too afraid to acknowledge and admit you're the problem so that you can do the thing I did when I hit my rock bottom, which was to ask for help, to go and seek help, to make some really hard decisions about my habits and my beliefs and my patterns, to say, okay, I'm done. I'm finally done. I'm done. Time to change. Again, I wasn't the alcohol wasn't the problem. I was the problem. Just like food is not the problem, you're the problem. If you have a problem, if you have a weight problem or a health problem associated with eating in excess, the food is not the problem. You're the problem. See, this is how this works. This is how you empower yourself. And some of this is usually hard to hear. But again, these are the excuses. This is the whole mantra of results kill excuses. Is I used to be excuses kill all the results. I had an excuse. I was the best excuse maker on planet Earth. And I was so sneaky, I would turn excuses into reasons because a reason somehow makes more sense. It's more justified as to why usually I'm not or can't do something that I should be doing, that I know I should be doing. And if I started to do it, guess what? My life would improve. Wow. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if you just started doing some new things and stopped doing some of the old things, that your life would improve? Now, as a consequence, if your life starts improving, does that mean that the your country's gonna improve, poverty's gonna improve, peace is gonna improve? What do you think what is the answer? If you improve yourself from the inside out, do you think you can contribute to all the things outside of you improving? The answer is yes. See, most of us, we think that we need to go and put our focus and our attention and our energy to the things outside of us, right? And that's what's going to make change. We're going to force the change. We're going to resist the change. We're going to, hate ourselves and angry ourselves into getting things to change by controlling situations. And it's like, that's not how change happens because nothing changed on the inside of you. So if you are overwhelmed by chaos, by the conflict, by the division, by all the things going on in this world, all of those things at a macro level, at a big level, are just a reflection of what's actually energetically going on the inside of you. There's chaos, there's secrecy, there's manipulation, there's lies. There's things that we think that we don't have to ever deal with. But I think deep down inside, I know that when I was still in my wounded state of being, right? Religion, I used to turn to religion a lot. And religion would always kind of haunt you with that and tell you, hey, you're going to have to answer for all that stuff. All those things you did, you're going to have to answer for it. And so you kind of even get more like guilty, more feeling ashamed, as opposed to be inspired to change. You almost feel like controlled to change, right? And that's like it's like the hammer. If you don't change, you're going to get smashed over the head. You're going to get judged and you're going to get put in the eternal fire. That is not why you exist. Just a FYI. That's not my belief anyways. Not anymore. Not that I ever really fully had that. I always questioned it. But if I could just reach one person right now, for you to realize that you have everything you need to succeed, to be more loving, to be more kind, to feel more lovable, to feel more productive, to feel healthier, to feel more proud of yourself, to feel more energetic, to feel more accomplished, to feel like you're making a greater contribution to this entire experience called life. But where all of that is cultivated is by you doing the inner work. It's not the outer work. And I'm telling you this from direct experience. I've been somebody that's volunteered thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, volunteered in disaster zones, in soup kitchens, in homeless shelters, in battered women shelters, in picking up trash in my community. I volunteered all over the place, thinking, let me go do something virtuous to make a positive impact in the community, in the lives of the people in this world that are hurting and suffering. It's very different than going out, making a sign, yelling, angry, frustrated. Two very different things. One of those things actually does produce positive impacts in the world, and the other is a negative return on your investment, because the amount of energy it takes to be angry and to stand around yelling, screaming, whistling, whatever the hell it is, the amount of energy that takes, call it resistance, call it uh, resistance, is actually like the worst energy that you could be in. Like every time I drive by and I see the sticker or the sign at the house that says resist, it's like, oh no, please don't do that. Don't resist. It's like it's actually the worst energy you can be in. Why? Do you need me to explain this to you? I'm happy to explain why resistance is such a negative energy, is because at first everything starts with you. And when you get into a state of resistance with yourself, let's say that you're unhealthy right now. And let's be honest with ourselves and say it's because we're not able to control our cravings and our impulses for caloric intake. It's called overeating, just gorging and indulging ourselves, right? It's gluttony. And since we're overeating, which is based on what I would believe, what attributes to most of the overeating is unhealed childhood trauma. But let's just say you have that, and you know deep down inside that you keep going back and eating food that you know it doesn't give you energy, you know it doesn't make you feel stronger, you don't feel better about yourself, that you're just like, it's just getting you through. And yet, when it comes to you, knowing that you could make different choices, what pops up for you is resistance to make the choices that would change your life, that would actually start bringing about the results. Instead, you want a magic trick. You want magic to happen, something to you just go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, and wow, you're now a lean, mean, sexy machine. It's like, that's not it. That's not how it works. But see, there's resistance within you. And so resistance is based on fear. Control is also based on fear. And so the things you're trying to control in your life, that's why I always say self-control is what I was taught, and it's the worst thing because it only works 9 out of 10 times. And when you're trying to control something, it drains you of your energy. When you are trying to resist something, and if you just think to yourself, not just at there's a micro level, which is with yourself, and there's a macro level, which is society and culture at large. But at the micro level, think about all the things you resist that would be better for you. Less TV, right? Less caloric eating, less idleness, right? You probably resist exercising as much as you could and you should. You probably resist learning new skills so that you can be more valuable in the marketplace and earn higher wages, right? You probably resist sharing your creative gift that you've never felt good enough to share because you just don't have that confidence and belief in yourself that you could be the star, right? You probably resist making changes, maybe changes in relationship, changes in where you live, changes in where you work. 87% of people hate their jobs, but you resist making those changes. Why? Because it's fear. There's something about it that is fearful. It's the unknown because you have gotten so complacent with your existence. And what I'm starting to realize, this came to me today, is I'm looking out there and it's like I feel like people are under spells. Because it's like I don't agree with any of the sides. I don't care what side you think you're on. It's not the right side. You think your side is right and you're not. And that's probably one of the most threatening things for someone to wake up to, is to say that everything you believe is a lie. Everything that you're fighting for is in vain because it's not truth. And why do I know it's not truth? Because if you're fighting for things that exist in this reality, this 3D reality called life on earth, that's temporary. And everybody that I am speaking to is an eternal soul having a human experience. So your eyes need to be on eternity and not just this temporary, tiny blimp of time. And especially when you put all your identity, all your existence into something that is not who you are. You're not your politics. You're not your social issues. You're not your sexuality. You're not your team. I mean, you're not even whatever government issued ID and birth certificate you have. That's not who you are. I know that's who you think you are. That's the spell. The spell, the veil over your eyes makes you assume that, yeah, all of that is the totality of the existence, but it's not. That's not why you exist. You do not exist to live a life less than you truly being the best version of yourself. And you know if you're being the best version. And you know when you're just like fucking around. I know when I was fucking around. I know that I can look back through the lens of when I was broken. If I was looking at this world right now, and if I was still in my wounded state, having not done any of the healing, none of the sobriety, none of the emotional inner work of healing my childhood trauma and understanding the totality of my existence being eternal, if I was still just sleepwalking and I was looking at the state of our planet right now, I would be outraged. I would be confrontational. I would be angry. I'd be mad. I would be all types of mean and nasty things. But you have to hear me, as I can see that I used to do that. I used to allow my emotions to be attached to external circumstances. That is how you give away your power. That is not empowerment. Empowerment is you fully bringing all your power back, sitting in the fires of your life, the things that you have experienced and making peace with whatever in the hell you experienced within it. It's doing the life review real time. And most of us, we just think, oh no, we can just, I've outgrown that. I'm not that kid no more. I forgot all that stuff. It's like you may have forgot it. It has not forgot you because, again, if you were to spend a week with me, I could point out all the different, if you were to tell me your story of what you do remember about your childhood, and then we were to spend a week together, and I was to able to just observe you, I would be able to point out, "Oh, hey, this what you just did right there, that's tied to this thing you told me about that happened when you were 5. It's still showing up in your 40, 30, 60. Oh, wait, that thing you just did right there, that little thing that you just did there, the way you're talking about yourself, putting yourself down verbally. Wait, that thing that you just said about yourself, that's tied to this thing that you told me about that happened with your parents, your mom, dad, someone in your family when you were 6 years old." See, we think we forgot that, but it hasn't forgot us. And what I have discovered through this journey that we're all on, I'm on the same journey as you. Just to make that crystal clear, I'm on the same exact journey. But what I have learned is that it was imperative for me to sit with myself. And that has to be probably one of the hardest things to do. And I'll tell you a story about 2008, 2009. Obama had just been elected, and I was in Southern California running a very successful promotional products company, living a dream life. Like, I was in my mid to late 20s. I was investing in real estate, had over $1 million real estate portfolio, feeling like a hot shot, ocean view, just business booming everywhere. And then in the fall of 2008, we had this incredible financial crisis. And it's just like everything fell off the cliff. And at the time, I was building a family, and I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I had my son, who's now 17. He was on the way. He was coming in hot. And things had gotten so bad as a business owner. I can give you an example in terms of real estate, because I had a promotional products company. I used to be the big shit in Southern California. Every industry coming to me for their signs, their banners, their embroidery, their t-shirts, custom everything. You name it, you want a logo on it, I did it all in-house. It was an incredible run while it lasted. And yet it got so bad that I remember, like, big real estate brokerages, big time players, they used to order like $10,000 a month in signs, just like constant order every month, ordering $10,000 in sign. To when the economy fell off the cliff in the fall into the winter of 2008 into the beginning of 2009, people, these same big time real estate brokers, would come into my business, and they were no longer ordering $10,000 worth of signs. They would bring in about 10 signs with all different types of names and numbers, and they would say, "Hey, I can't order the 10 signs, but can you make a sticker to cover up this person's name and number?" And I'm like, "Oh man, this is bad. This is bad." If the big dogs are coming in here looking for cover-ups, right? There's a lot of people in real estate, but they needed like just the sticker to cover up the person that tapped out, their name and their number. And I also remember that I was still keeping my doors open in the thick of things, but it wasn't looking good. That I remember having to turn down like engineers, like, very highly educated, high skilled people looking to say, "Hey man, can I work for you?" Right? Can I sweep? Can I do like the whatever job? I literally had multiple engineers come in asking if they could do like, picking out stickers and mounting banners and, just basic work in the shop. And yet the reason why I tell you that story is to just share a little bit more of the fullness of what I've been through, because I haven't just been through like the alcohol problems of my life. I've been through the absolute total life upheaval that was very transformative. And the reason why I say this, stay tuned, is during that time, me and my now ex-wife basically had to have a real hard conversation with ourselves to say, man, this is rough. Like, we're both from out here in New Mexico, which is where I'm at now, but we were in Southern California, starting this family with a son that was, months away from being delivered. And we basically had to come up with a plan to say, I think we got to move back home. Like, this is too uncertain and shit is so bad. Like, we can roll up our sleeves and try and fight with everything we got to stay out here, or we may need to just read the writing on the wall and tap out and go home. And I've always had this mantra called "Go big or go home," and we went home, and it was a journey to get home, because we had to make a decision to get home. And then for like 4 straight months, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had garage sales, because this was 08, 09. This predate, like, Craigslist was fresh, but it wasn't like wide the way it is now, and just marketplace and just being able to sell all your shit. I mean, there was still, papers, putting classified ads and stuff happening. And so we had to come up with a strategic plan. And this is what's going to bring the life lesson that I think a lot of people right now that are struggling mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, the lesson for you is going to come from this part of the story. And it was confirmed today in another way, and I'll share that here in a minute too. So I had to come up with a strategic plan to basically say, okay, we had, I had a business, multiple properties. We had a lot of stuff. And so we literally just started doing garage sales every weekend. It was for like 4 months straight, nonstop, every weekend, just garage sales, trying to sell everything we could. And it helped us because that did set us up once we finally made the move back. But here's one of the most important things that I did back then. When we came up with this strategic plan, hey, we need to get rid of as much stuff as we can, lighten our load, liquidate material things into cash. But the one thing that I needed to do, and it has stuck with me now for 17 years, was I had the foresight and the strategic vision to say, you know what? We need to cancel our TV subscription, the cable. We got to get rid of the satellite. I think back then it was satellite. We didn't got time to watch TV no more. This is 0809, so I think there was what the hell was the one MySpace, right? Like social media was infancy. But yet the point I'm trying to say is that back then I had the foresight to say I need to eliminate any and all distractions so that I can lock in here, do everything I need to do to basically save myself and my family and get us the hell out of here. And so we killed the television, and I've never turned it back on since. That's 17 years. And there's no way that we would have gotten what we needed to get done if we still had the leisure to be like, it's okay, we can be distracted, we can just chill and zone out and just watch whatever. And it's like, no, we didn't have the time for that. It was go time. It was crisis mode. It was all hands on deck. It was all in focus. We needed to be focused. And there's a lot of you right now hearing this message. You need to be focused. Well, how do you get focused? You need to cut the distractions from your life so that you can focus on your life and that you can really like start to make some shifts mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically in your life. Quit giving your energy, and thus you're draining yourself to things that bring you nothing in return other than what? Entertainment value? What the fuck is entertainment value? You ain't got time to be entertained right now. You ain't got time to be emotionally dysregulated by watching all the chaos happening in this world. And if you're participating in it on either side, that's even worse. And what's so cool about telling this story is I was recently getting a massage, and my massage therapist, I shared this story with. And he's like, you know what's so cool? He's like, I gave up television. He's like, I basically have been doing a digital detox for the past month. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, what spurred you on to like disconnect from all the noise? And he's like, what he said was he realized that he was angry all the time. He was down, he was depressed, he was upset, he was mad, he was like all of these negative feelings. And he was sick and tired of like feeling that way, realizing that he was just being inundated constantly. Thus, so are you with all of this information that's meant to just keep you emotionally dysregulated. And you think you need that information. That's the problem. You think you need the information. You don't need the information. And so, literally, dead ass, it's like he basically just did this 30 days. And I'm like, so what did you do? And he's like, man, I deleted all my news apps. I stopped watching the news. I stopped following. I unfollowed people that were like hyper political or hyper social issues. Just I started to unfollow and cleanse my digital space. And I said, well, what's been the result in the first month? He's like, dude, on the other side of all of that, he's like, I feel better about myself. I have more attention and focus to actually do the things I love. He's like, and you know what really is the result is he says he feels more free. Could anybody use some more freedom? Because I 100% agree that on the other side of all of disconnecting your emotions, pulling back all of the emotions, all of the things you think you believe are relevant, are so important about your life in this existence on this planet that you're going to go and fight and yell and scream and have meltdowns and breakdowns and all kinds of shit. That is not what your existence is for. You are here to heal and to step into the best version of yourself, which is filled with love, joy, and peace. Clear of all hatred, all anger, all shame, all guilt, all frustration, all grief, all sadness. Doesn't mean you don't still experience that, but you take your power back when you do the healing work. This is how you empower yourself. You don't need to know the information. The information that's out there is all a part of keeping you in a spell, thinking that it needs to matter to you for your life to have relevance. If you want to make an impact in this world, create peace within you, true peace. Sit in the fires of your experience on this planet, the actual things that have happened to you on a personal scale. Not the things happening on the other side of the world that someone is telling you this is really important to you and you need to be upset about it. That's the biggest indicator of when to say, no, 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 no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be upset because someone else is telling me to be upset about something that is not directly impacting your life. Now, some of you will be like, well, that's inhumane. It's like, no, it's not. Because if you truly want to participate in the evolution of this planet, the participation that you have signed up for, and most of you are resisting it, is for you to heal all of your emotional trauma and to truly step into your higher self, to be a light on this planet, a true light, not a chaotic, not a hypocritical, but a true light, fully transparent, unconditional love, peace within, peace without. That is the purpose of your existence. Not to just be more noise, more chaos, more anger, more division. But yet, when I say all those things, guess what? Calling everybody out. I appreciate you, Pinecone. Thank you for being here. I always enjoy your engagements and comments. And I'm just grateful that this message is absolutely reaching people. Now, whether or not you're willing to awaken from the spell that has been cast upon you is up to you. It's up to you. I love the analogy of it's like we're all eagles and you're in a cage, but the door's open. But you've been telling yourself, and other people have been telling you since you were born, that you can't fly. And even if you tried, you'd suck. So instead of going out, walking out of that cage, spreading your wings and learning how to fly. The thing you were called to do, you would much rather sit there and think about it, watching all the other birds fly, wishing you could fly, instead of going out there and flying. Recovery is a great place to be. Because the mental clarity is the number one. It's number one. You have to get mental clarity. And I think that's where most people just can't. Again, you resist. You're resisting forces way beyond anything you could ever do. And yet you resist even just making the micro adjustments into your own life. Like eating healthy, eating clean, giving up the vices, no more alcohol, no more smoke, spending time in nature, spending time in reflection, doing some journaling, doing some meditation practices, some breath work, asking for some help, hiring a coach, getting a therapist, doing the inner child healing work so that you can then sit with yourself. I was in acupuncture recently, and I was sitting there and I had like needles all over my face, all over my body, all over my legs, my arms, like just, I don't know. It was a lot of needles. And I was so calm. I was so peaceful. And the reason why I was so calm and peaceful isn't because of the needles. It was because I've made peace with myself, that I can now sit with myself. I have the full sense of self-awareness. I have the full sense of self-mastery. Does that mean I'm perfect? No. But that means that any thoughts, any feelings that come up, I can sit with those, make peace with those, and I know where they are from. I know where their origin is, and I no longer give those power over my life. I can choose my thoughts, and I can stop the ones that I don't choose in their tracks. And it takes work, and it's taken practice, and it's taken consistency. That's why I've developed the 1% Better Everyday Journal. If you haven't ever checked it out, you should click on the link. You should go to resultskillexcuses.com and check out that 1% Better Everyday Journal. I'm doing a 20% discount right now. Just type in RKE111 in the shopping cart and you'll get 20% off. If you're looking for a system to truly help accelerate your levels of self-accountability, of building self-respect, starting to reprogram your negative thoughts and beliefs and habits, starting to heal some of your emotional wounds, starting to create greater levels of self-awareness, and feel supported by literally getting one-on-one coaching packed into every single journal. Like most people, you hear journal, you just think notebook, but in the journal is actual references to over 100. I mean, really, the full year program is going to have over 200 videos, not just hours, videos of me coaching you through the lessons within the video, live video lessons taught by me to help guide you every step of the way. It's incredible. There's nothing else like that out there. Nothing that integrates all of that. But yet what? We resist, right? We resist the change, resist everything, resist. And people wonder why they're so exhausted. Resistance and control. Those are the two most draining energies that you can have. Resistance and control. then I would also put in there anger and hatred. Right? It's really exhausting to be angry and hating towards people. So exhausting. Gosh. But yet, if someone is telling you you have to hate somebody, that's already a red flag, right? We're going to turn self mastery into like the modern dating world where it's like you're looking for green flags and red flags, right? If someone else, call it media, call it politician, call it anybody else outside of you, is telling you and with a convincing argument as to why you should hate someone else, that's a red flag. That's not a green flag. That's a red flag. I don't care how sweet the message sounds. You have to challenge your beliefs. Because again, when you start to see in the spiritual world and you start seeing into eternity, every single person on here is playing a part of what is necessary. Think about it. This whole planet is like, it's like a movie, right? It's like theater. This whole entire planet is like a big theater. Now, where are we trying to go as a planet? We are trying to evolve. And I think a big part of our evolutionary step is to really return back to where we were in ancient times, which we were much more harmoniously connected, right? Divinely aligned. We honored and respected each other and the planet and the resources. But somewhere along the way, we've been hijacked. And yet, it doesn't matter who's doing the hijacking because there's always a greater force at play beyond anyone on this planet or anything that they can manipulate. Because, see, all forces that are either seeking control, think about a government force. A government, let's just say most governments on this planet in this current timeline are operating out of fear. Right? Because they want to control. They don't want to lose their power and they want to maintain control. So even at a macro level, a government is operating out of fear. If you look at you down to the micro level, you're operating out of fear. There are things you're not doing that you know you should be doing. You know that there is forgiveness that you should give that you're afraid to give. You know that there are things you should do to take better care of yourself that you're not doing because of fear of the unknown. And yet collectively, right, the resistance group is also operating out of fear. So you have two opposing forces that are both all based in fear, whether it's a massive macro level force, call it a government, it's operating out of control, which is fearful. When you try to control somebody, that's not love. Control is never love. Control is fear. When you are opposing something, you are again operating out of fear. And what we have a choice to do is to start operating out of love at an individual level. And as more and more people choose that, which is not resist, it is to surrender and align with your true purpose, with your higher self, by shutting off and taking your power back from all of these things that are draining you of your energy. We've all heard this saying, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So where are you focused? Are you focused on the bad things? Or are you focused on incredible things happening in your life? Now, the other problem with so many people, how many times have you told yourself this? I'll believe it when I see it. when the way that it works is you'll see it when you believe it. Now, for everybody in the back, I'm going to say that again. I'll believe it when I see it. You have to see it to believe it. You need it to be visually true, even though the deception is so real. The deception is so real right now that how do you believe anything you're seeing? How do you believe anything anybody's trying to tell you? Including myself. Filter this through. Is this content making me have feelings towards another person that are negative, or is this person just telling me go within, go within, go within, go within, sit in front of your own mirror, go within, all the answers, all the peace, everything you need is in you, not outside. It's all a mirror. So you'll believe it when you see it, or you'll see it. You'll see the peace. You'll see the love. You'll see the joy. You'll see the light when you believe that it's within you. And that all of the shit that you've been consuming, visually, audioly, all the different things that you've been consuming that are not in alignment with your higher self, it's like overburden, right? It covers the light within you. And the work to do is to let go little by little, releasing all of the beliefs, all of the things that you're holding on to that do not serve your reason for existing on this planet. You can either contribute to the evolution of our human experience, transcending the current system that is failing. It's failing on itself. You don't need to resist it. It's going to collapse. If you pull your energy, that is the most impactful thing you can have on the system. Taking your focus away from it. That is how you win. That is how it falls apart. It has relevance because you believe it. Man, I know somebody is picking up what I'm dropping right here, right now. And I'm grateful for all of you that have tuned in here, checked out this message. I'm going to continue working on myself, holding myself accountable, being the light, being the change that I desire to see in this world, to be the change, be the example, be the light, be the love, be the peace, and it has to start within. It's time. This current timeline has run its course. We see it everywhere you look. It's chaos. The reason why it's chaos, I'll tell you, I'll leave you with this. This is the final notes for tonight's message. Thanks for everyone that's joined here. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the Results Kill Excuses channel on YouTube. Share the message. Right. Leave me a comment if something connected with you tonight. If you're interested in any coaching one-on-one, just to truly accelerate your process of becoming the best version of yourself, you can reach out to me, Greg, Greg at resultskillexcuses.com, or you can always go to resultskillexcuses.com, get yourself some merchandise, support the channel. But I'll leave you with this in closing. The time is now for all of us to evolve into the higher version of ourselves. And the way you do this is by spending time with yourself, doing the healing work, realizing that you're wounded, realizing that there's pain inside of you. And here's the thing, I'm somebody, I had to learn most of the biggest, most important lessons of my life have come through so much pain. And I take extreme ownership of the pain because it's self inflicted pain. Yes, other people participated in the pain, but I just take ownership. But it takes me to learn major lessons, a tremendous amount of pain. Here's the kicker, it doesn't have to be that way. But unfortunately, most of humanity, if you look out there, all the chaos is a collective effort for us to awaken and learn what our existence is on this planet through pain. But it doesn't have to be that way. You could come peacefully. You don't have to learn through the fires and the trials and the tribulations and the crises of this existence. You can hear this message and respond. You don't have to go through the grinder. But yet, when you look out there, the same way that I personally had to learn through pain, when you look at this world and you see everywhere, there's not, I don't know, point of direction where there's not chaos and some kind of conflict and people just divided and ready to just take each other out. That is a large scale effort at the subconscious level for all of us crying out that we want something more out of this existence. And so we're going to learn the lesson collectively through pain. Unless you've had enough pain and you're ready to just surrender, to say enough's enough, and to start making the absolute shifts mentally, changing your attitude, mentally getting clear, giving up the addictions, giving up the chemicals, healing your emotional state of being, becoming an emotional literate person on this planet, connecting with the divine, connecting with all life force energy throughout the entire universe. And ultimately, that is seen through your body, this temple. No longer is it good enough to be one dimensional. We're going to the 5D here. And if you know, you know. And if you're ready to know, then start asking questions, start doing research, and start sitting with yourself. Because the one dimensional is in the past. Some people said, oh, well, I have my religion, I have my faith. That's good enough. But then you look at the person and they're really out of their life isn't congruent. They say they have this thing called faith, but their bodies are in terrible shape. They're unhealthy. They eat unhealthy. Their words are unhealthy. And it's hypocrisy. It's not congruence. There's some people that are in great shape, but again, emotionally, they're a wreck. Spiritually, they're void. Mentally, they're still chaotic, but they have incredible bodies. That's one dimensional. It's not going to be good enough anymore. Some people think, oh, I just found my better half. I just needed to find my better half. And now that I found my better half, my life is complete. But yet, there's constant friction. What happens if the better half says, I found another better half, and now you're back to just being a half? What do you do then, right? It's the reason why everything is just getting stirred. The whole world, we're getting stirred because we've run it our course. The current timeline has run its course. Take your focus off of it. Start bringing all your energy, all your attachments back to yourself. get centered on yourself, heal your emotional state of being, get to a place of self-mastery, get to a place of true authenticity, free from chemical dependencies and addictions and all kinds of weird shit, and see what happens. I guarantee you, every day that you invest in becoming a better version of yourself, you are guaranteed to have the return on the investment. But again, you can learn through pain, crisis, or you can learn through peace, which is saying, I'm willing to change who I am. And that's a beautiful, very powerful place to be when you don't have to have the pain and the fire. You can just come peacefully and say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give this a go. I'm gonna give this a go. Well, when you're ready to give it a go, I'll be here cheering for you because I'm cheering for you right here, right now. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next one. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.